How is it time for another reset video already? It only feels like yesterday that I did the June one and it's still cold. If you're new here, I'm Kim, this is my channel. I talk about handmade stuff, and once a month, first Friday of every month, I do a monthly reset, and I've set myself some goals and I review them from the past month because, you know, accountability. And I talk about budgety stuff and I talk about sales. I do a little fight club thing. It's the Etsy versus Shopify fight club, and we see who wins out, and it's usually Shopify. And I will say no more because we're going to dive in to goals. Does anybody remember my goals from last month? It was taxes. I was supposed to do my taxes because I didn't do them the month before that or the month before that. Well, I did them. So yes, I have finally got my self-assessment off my to-do list and it feels so good. The other thing was the shop update. I can't remember how much I showed you or even told you in my last video. I could watch it, but I'm not going to. I had a shop update due. It was mainly patches, and that's gone up. That was another thing checked, and that was pretty much it. So June goals, I did all right. July goals, I think shop updates of some description are always going to be on the list. I'm now working towards planning the autumn/winter shop update. I'm not sure when it's going to go up. But I'm kind of looking ahead towards that time of the year, which feels like a lifetime away, but I know it'll be here before we know it. Okay, so that's goals. Wow. Let's just cover budget very, very quickly. I don't know why, because June was much like previous months. It was a cheap and cheerful month. I didn't really buy anything. I didn't really spend much on the business or in the business other than the, you know, bog standard monthly stuff. So it was a cheap month. But going into July, it's going to be more expensive because having done my stock take yesterday, where are we at? It's the 2nd as I sit down to film this. So yes, as I did my stock take yesterday, turns out I'm running out of a lot of things packaging wise. So I'm definitely going to be getting some more packaging in. I need some more materials so that I can make stuff for the next shop update. It will be more expensive than usual, but that's fine because it's been, as I say, pretty cheapish few months, and that's not normal. So, okay. So I think I got through that fairly quickly. So now we're back to Fight Club part, and for those who are new here, this is the tally that we've got so far. As you can see, it's a mixed bag, but mostly this year Shopify have been winning. And I must admit, at the start of June, I thought it was going to be the same. However, have Etsy won out in July? No. It was a draw. I know. Both Shopify and Etsy got the same amount of sales, and as this is a sales challenge, it's a tie. I don't know what to do with that. Do I split the... Let's split the thingy. Okay, so this is what it looked like last month. And I guess this is what it looks like now. Cool. But this is where it gets exciting. And this is where I started writing down notes because I've got so much stuff to tell you. I do want to point out that although it was a tie in terms of sales, Shopify unsurprisingly won out in terms of revenue and profit. And this is the main reason why that is the case. All of the items that I sold on my website were handmade items like you see behind me, and because these are my higher ticket handmade items, they are more expensive, and so I made more revenue. Compared with Etsy though, all of my items that were sold there were supplies items, so lower ticket. So although the sales were the same, more revenue from my website, and all of the items are available in both places now, FYI. Also, and I think I said this last month, but I'm going to say it again this month because, well, it's true, but sales are up on both my Shopify and Etsy compared to this time last year. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I do think it's important to highlight the good. And also just last year was a whole thing that I can't say. It was a lot. So it just feels nice to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, because this tunnel, frickin' heck, it's been a long ass tunnel, hasn't it? So sales were up from this time last year, and if you've been watching my reset videos for the last few months, you'll know that this is important to me, guys. I made international sales again on physical products on Etsy. If you've been watching previously, you'll know that I haven't actually made any physical product sales on Etsy internationally for the best part of a year. And I was starting to worry that I had been dinged by localization or what have you. Because international sales are usually 50-50 on my website, although a month or so ago they made up all of my sales in their entirety. So it's not a case of the cost being too much to post out or the time it takes to get there, because my customers just aren't put off by either of those things on the website. So it just felt a bit weird. And I've made a few sales physically, internationally, all of the things. So what's changed? Now I do have a theory as to why that is, and I think it might be down to Etsy's recent unpopular change with the shipping times. So my dispatch time used to be, what was it? Was it 1 to 3 days or 1 to 2 days? It was that. But I would always do it next day anyway. But I just like to have that wriggle room in case, you know, it was the weekend or I was ill or I just physically couldn't get out to the post office or whatever. So Etsy have basically changed the dispatch times so that if you say that you take X amount of time, but you have a habit, a pattern of getting it out quicker, they will automatically reduce your dispatch times. So if you haven't checked yours, just double check. I was aware of this. I was annoyed with this. I did nothing about this. Why? Honestly, because the last few weeks have been absolutely mental here and I just haven't had the time. I meant to come back to it, I never did. And then the sales picked up. So it has definitely had an impact on my sales. I say definitely, there's no way to know for sure, but I think not making international sales for the best part of a year and then suddenly I get an influx of them. Also, sales have been pretty rubbish on Etsy recently, very rubbish last month, and again, picked up, and it was all after this happened. So I may not know, but it's very coincidental. Do I think it's had an impact on me being found in search? It does look that way. I mean, maybe they have a setting that if your shipping times are too long, that you are essentially putting yourself in localization because they care about people getting their things quickly. That would make sense. It isn't great. I'm going to stick with it for now because, as I say, I've been doing that anyway. And honestly, if I get dinged for sending stuff out late because I broke my leg or I can't get out to the post office, then I'll take that on the chin. And it will be interesting to see if this continues into next month or if it just dries up again. We shall see. And then the other thing to point out is that sales are up. My international sales appear to be back, and this is all despite overall traffic being down. And I've noticed this on my Shopify website as well. Traffic and visits are down compared to usual, and sales are up. I don't know what to do with that information. I'm just giving it to you in case it is, if it's interesting to you too. Now, someone did contact me last week and they asked me about my Etsy experiment that I was running and how it was getting on. If you're watching, I did tell you that I was going to talk about it in this video. I'm not yet because I thought I was going to have my last membership vlog up on the membership and I haven't. Oops. I focused on getting a video up on my Beech Tree Handmade channel last week and I just ran out of steam and just didn't have the energy to do another one for the membership. So that is coming and I will be talking about the experiment, which I have finished and wrapped up now. But like I say, I want to share it with the membership first before I do here. But I will be sharing it here. So if you're not subscribed, hit subscribe. That's thumbs up. You get my point. Come join me if you would like to make sure that you don't miss that, is what I'm trying to say. Or not, as the case may be. It's cool. But yeah, all interesting stuff actually. A lot has happened in the past few weeks. And it's been completely the opposite to May, which was such a painful, slow month. I don't know how some of you are going to feel about that because I know that this change by Etsy has been a very unpopular one. It would have been for me too if I only sold on Etsy, but as I've said a dozen times before, this was one of the reasons why I love having my Shopify website, because it just means that when Etsy do something like this, I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever. It's just worth its weight in gold, to be brutally honest with you. Ooh, but right, so that's the you know the sparkly, sexy part of the video over and done with. If that's all you were here for, you might want to click off now, because I'm going to be talking about some quarterly goals I was meant to say at the beginning of this video but forgot, but I've just written them at the bottom of my page, so we'll allow it. And for those of you that are sticking around for this nonsense, I appreciate you. Right, okay, what is that bump? Sorry, there's a bump in my... Oh! It's my little smiley paperclip. Anyway, I digress. My Q2 goals were to do my year-end stuff, which included keeping up to date with my bookkeeping and self-assessment and some other personal financial bits and bobs, and I've done it. Phase 2 of the Etsy experiment, which was essentially the spring update, I've done that. And then phase 3 of the Etsy experiment, which was the summer update. Oh, God. The summer update. I did that too. Q3 is going to be a bit calmer, because it needs to be. It's so much going on in there. It's like squirrels in a bucket, I'm guessing. I don't know what squirrels in a bucket would look like, but I'm thinking it would be absolute carnage. Obviously, the autumn/winter update. And then the next one is a personal one, and it's just house DIY. For those who are unaware, I live in a house that is ancient. I love her dearly, but good God. And she needs a lot of TLC all of the time. She's very needy. So over the summer holidays and the next couple of months, there are some bits and bobs that we need to crack on with. So rather than fill my to-do list with business stuff, I'm gonna try and be DIY Kim. What could possibly go wrong? Alright, I've been rambling on enough. There will be the usual Coffee and Craft podcast next Monday again, and if you like these reset videos, I'll put the playlist for you here, and there'll be another one in a month's time. Alright folks, have a good month, have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.